Hi everyone. Today, as I've been promising for a very, very long time, I am finally going to be doing a video version of one of my absolute most viewed blog posts to date. Why I hated The Book Thief, sorry, not sorry. This is one of the books which I have read, which I hate the most. I am not going to apologize. I can't say enough about how much I just freaking hated this book. And this blog post which I wrote about it, it was like so angry and negative. It was rejected by the repository website Ink Pageant. I'm not really sure how to describe that website. It's just people submit like blog posts to them, like writing advice, book reviews, talking about their own books, as long as it's not, like obsessively, obnoxiously like marketing. Oh, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. And did I mention buy my book? And they rejected this blog post, but none of my others, even the 3-star review I wrote of like Tender is the Night, they didn't reject. But the reason they gave for not accepting my negative review of The Book Thief was it was too demeaning. Sorry, not sorry. I do not regret a single word I wrote of this blog post. So anyway, and by the way, I do not care if anyone like downvotes this video because, oh no, you said something bad about my sacred cow. Everyone loves this book. Oh, guess what? No, they don't. And sometimes, well written or like spoken video or book review like means a lot more and has a lot better information than mindless 5-star praise. Oh, Name is a genius. How could Name have a bad book or album or movie? Oh, everyone says it's a classic. How could it not be a classic? How do you review a classic? Classic. Like, just people should think for themselves. So anyway, let's just get down with it. Oh, yes, I'm going to go there, and I don't care how many people might think I'm as bad as a kitten killer for stating my honest opinion on this bloated piece of purple prose on par with the D.W. Griffith movie. And please don't write some impassioned comment trying to get me to magically change my mind and suddenly join the crowd, squeeing all over this tripe. Not gonna happen. When this was assigned as a required historical in my YA literature class in autumn of 2011, I was excited to finally get to read this book I had heard so many good things about. And the first few chapters actually flew by quickly. I thought I was going to love the rest of the book and have it done in a few days. Was I wrong? Attempting to read this book was like watching paint dry. It moved at a snail's pace, with no real plot taking shape, and nothing of note really happening. A lot of things happened, but they never really accomplished anything. Even a book that's deliberately slower paced and more about character development and with a deliberately episodic structure than fast-paced and plot-centric needs to be hung on some kind of arc. I kept waiting for some kind of inciting incident to take shape, some dramatic midway point, and it never happened. With the exception of Rudy and maybe Hans, none of these characters felt particularly fleshed out and three-dimensional. They were like a collection of stereotypes and characteristics, rather like how I used to write my own characters. At least my excuse was extreme youth. None of these people ever really came alive for me. I felt absolutely nothing for any of them. The prose is excessively purple, and not only that, it's overwrought and reads like something you'd find in the notebooks of some self-important teen who thinks he or she is all that. I've been there and done that, so I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's not even deliberate, but your youthful prose oozes the message. Look at me! I'm so much deeper and more creative than my peers. Look at these unique metaphors and similes. Look how uniquely I use language. Everyone praised me as a special little snowflake and misunderstood genius. Page after page contains silly examples like breakfast-colored sun, chocolate-colored sky, pine cones littered like cookies, disfigured figure, lacerated windows, the sound of a smell, and rusty silver eyes. Seriously, the language is just bizarre, and nightmare isn't a verb, at least not in English, and this book was originally written in English, so no one can blame, like a goofy or strange or like overly like radical creative whatever like translation. That was the original language for like all of it. It's way too heavy-handed, beating us over the head with all the subtlety of a D.W. Griffith movie and telling us how to think and feel. At least Griffith's films are entertaining and tell interesting stories, his personal flaws and Victorian preachiness and moralizing aside. I would gladly watch just about any of his films again, like, and I even, like, sucked it up. Obviously, this is much more of a topic for another video, but I even, like, sucked it up and watched Birth of a Nation a second time. It's a very, very difficult film to watch for obvious reasons, but it's just, like, he was a very good storyteller, even if he did obviously have all these flaws. Just maybe I should do a separate video about him. I am still, like, planning to do more videos about silent films in the future. And I'm very sorry about that obnoxious vacuum in the background if that's picking up on the video. Unless Rudy were exposed to radioactive material or a dye job went seriously wrong, his hair would not literally be the color of lemons. A human being cannot have lemon-colored hair naturally. Why do so many writers try to creatively describe hair color? Death as a narrator is a really bad gimmick that doesn't work. Native-speaking Germans have said the vulgar words constantly bandied about, which I'm not going to speak myself in this video, by the way, are not used as anything but vulgar, lowbrow insults in German. They're not used as cute, charming, funny terms of endearment between spouses, friends, or parents and children. Just picture one of George Carlin's 7 dirty words you can't say on television, standing in for those words, and you get the point, totally obscene and inappropriate. Like, for example, just try telling your wife or girlfriend, calling your wife, girlfriend, or mother the C word, and she's not going to, like, hug or kiss you. She's going to probably, like, punch you in the face if she's any kind of self-respecting woman. Or try, calling a man the CS word, if you know what word that is. Like, that's going to be, like, he's going to be really angry at you. It's just like, why would this author think this was cute and funny? Did he actually, like, speak to any actual native-speaking Germans or do any research? I was, like, disgusted and horrified. Like, pretty much everyone. I was the lone voice out in my YA literature class, even the professor who hated this book. And the one guy, he's a whole topic for a whole other video. He was, that kind of, like, socially awkward type. He was actually laughing about the words, oh, they're so funny. And he was, like, shocked when I said I didn't like this. I didn't like most of the books in that class. Anyway, I love the Walter Dean Myers book I read. That was, I think, the first book in that entire class I actually enjoyed. And then I did, like, the graphic novels and novels in verse, but it was just, I was so out of touch with what the professor and other students were liking in these books. I was just like, gross, this is overrated. It's not written very well. I'm not connecting with the characters. The story is stupid. And The Book Thief was the biggest example of how out of touch I was with everybody else in this class. But, I almost always, like, go against the crowd when it comes to, like, popular books and movies and writers and bands and stuff. Just, I hated The Book Thief so freaking much. Way too much telling instead of showing. I think there's too much emphasis on only showing these days, but this wasn't the good, necessary kind of telling. It just made the book even more boring and long-winded. Nice job stereotyping nuns as ruler-wielding, child-beating sadists. I'm not Catholic myself, but I have always had the greatest of love and respect and admiration for nuns, ahead of pretty much most other women in the world. They had, access to actual careers and higher educations, like they could be more than not just, I know, like, I shouldn't, dismiss any career a woman was able to have in the past, but, many women, like, wanted to be more than a teacher or a nurse, and a number of nuns were able to do that, as well as, like, getting, like, master's degrees and advanced doctoral degrees, and, like, traveling the world and stuff, because they weren't, locked down by being, like, full-time wives and mothers. And so nuns they get such a horrible bad rap, and they're stereotyped by people, and, like, things like this, it just makes it even worse. Like, oh, they always beat children, and they're just, like, religious fanatics and sexually repressed, and, like, all these other, like, disgusting and annoying, stupid stereotypes. And just one of many reasons I hated this book so damn much. How not to write omniscient POV. Litter the book with constant spoilers and horn into the narrative to give away pivotal plot points, the fates of just about everyone, and the ending, multiple times. Just think of a book whose ending totally tore your heart out because of a character's unexpected death, or some other kind of tragedy. Now imagine how different it would have been had you seen this every 5-10 pages. I'm obviously going to put it on the screen in text because it doesn't have the same impact spelling it out. Asterisk, 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 all in bold, all caps, newsflash, multiple exclamation points, asterisk, 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 asterisk. In 5 months, Name is going to die in exactly this way. You'll never see that one coming. He. Everyone praise my cleverness. Look how avant-garde I am. Ugh, that just made me so angry. Newsflash, this book sucks. God help the people who seriously think this is brilliant or moving use of foreshadowing. I wasn't aware that the definition of foreshadowing now included outright giving away the ending in pivotal plot developments. Has the definition changed that I wasn't aware of? Like, seriously, like, why would you think that's foreshadowing? You're saying, like, oh, this, like, John or Jane, whoever, is going to die in exactly this way in, like, 10 weeks or whatever, or tomorrow, like, Name is going to find her husband having an affair or something like that, or there's going to be a huge bomb and the whole village dies. Like, so you know exactly what's going to happen. Foreshadowing is when you, I shouldn't even have to explain that. Like, for example, you drop subtle hints along the way, like, for example, oh, maybe these characters, they're like talking more often and they're like meeting one another as they get older. Oh, maybe that author is trying to say they're like destined to like fall in love and get married when they're like grown-ups, or they're in the living in the same area or the same city or whatever. Oh, maybe this character is going to meet a certain end because like this like motif is like prominent. Oh, and that character might be like going to die in a certain way, or oh, like there's a lot of emphasis on this character's leg in a movie. Like, oh, maybe that character is going to, God forbid, like lose a leg when he goes to war later in the movie, something like that. It's not saying like, oh, Johnny is going to die in like 10 weeks by stepping on a minefield. Oh, and that's so foreshadowing. Newsflash, I hated this book so much. He had over 500 pages and couldn't even make it to the end of the war. Seriously, serious sign this was an unfocused project. The title makes no sense, as Liesel only steals a few books on and off. It takes a special talent to make a book set during this era boring. Like, seriously, what was going on upstairs? And this is why I stay far away from books with massive hype. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider leaving a comment, a respectful one, of course, telling me if you have read this book or saw the film based on it and what you thought of it. Maybe you thought like I did, this is like overrated, like absolute garbage, and the newsflash spoilers are seriously obnoxious and the language is just stupid. Everything about the book absolutely sucks. Or just let me know other books you have had the exact opposite reaction to from the crowd. You know, it's good to stand out from the crowd and have your own opinions. You don't have to say mindlessly go along, oh, this is automatic 5 stars because everyone else says it is, and so I can't go against the crowd. People might, you know, attack me and downvote me, although I am kind of really glad Amazon finally, you know, I don't remember how long ago it was, like some years back already, they took away the downvote option. Like in the past, you would see so many people downvoting, like, you know, 1-star reviews of books, no matter how well written they were. Like, not just, you know, obviously like troll reviews are just horrible and they should be downvoted into eternity, but many times like a 1-star review can be like well written. They're explaining why the book did nothing for them. The writing was bad. It was just like a weird like concept. There was, you know, like, you know, racism in the actual narrative that was like too overwhelming to ignore, even within like the context of the era or the setting, or just like this and that and all these other things. Oh no, how dare you criticize the sacred cow? Downvote, 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 downvote. It's just like, seriously. And I'm so glad it's like, I know like, oh, I'm getting totally off topic, but I'm just, you know, glad it's like a much healthier environment now to give negative reviews on Amazon, because people aren't just gonna like, oh, like, you know, 300 people out of, you know, like whatever, however many liked it. They're like basically ratioing you. So like, oh, I hated this book so much. So thank you very much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.